So, there's been a lot of discussion recently about what the next big 3D Mario game will be like, mainly due to things like the 40th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. A new Nintendo console was released, but, good luck trying to afford that though. Of which people were quick to note that there was no big 3D Mario game announced for the system. At least, as of rightness, there has been one announced. And of course, the upcoming, as of rightness at least, Super Mario Galaxy movie, which personally I am very, very excited for.
Who is this?
Okay, it's Childish Gambino, homegirl, drop it like.
There's also been these supposed leaks.
I hate leaks! Somebody call me a plumber!
Of the next big 3D Mario game, which will apparently be titled Super Mario Titans. And come on, just by taking a look at any one of these supposed leaks, it's so obviously just AI slop. I mean, like, would Nintendo really release a game like this? I don't think they would. But this still got me thinking. What exactly is Nintendo going to do for the next big 3D Mario game? What exactly would I want to see out of a new big 3D Mario game? And that's what we'll be discussing today. So, let's go. I'm sorry. Oh man, not again. Alright, now before we actually get into any of that, I do kind of want to give my quick thoughts on these real leaks, by the way, of Super Mario Titans. From what I could tell, these leaks seem to originate on Twitter. The person on there trying to convince everyone that these leaks are in fact real, and honestly, I do have to respect the amount of dedication and how much they're fighting tooth and nail to convince others that these leaks are in fact real, and they weren't just sloppily put together using AI. I kind of have to respect it, honestly. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth since that's not what this video is about, and there's already a whole bunch of other videos on YouTube that you could just watch instead for a deeper analysis. So, all I'm going to say for now is that, I'm not going to lie, despite these leaks being so obviously just, like, yeah, I can't lie, the idea of a superhero-inspired Mario game where you go around collecting different power-ups and superpowers, I think that's actually a really cool idea. So, there's a tiny part of me, honestly, that would probably want Super Mario Titans to be real, just not looking at all like how it looks in these screenshots, because I do not want a Mario game that looks like this. It looks bad. I can't see this game happening at all. So, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about what I actually would want to see out of a new 3D Mario. Alright, now, right at the bat, the first thing I would want, honestly, would be multiple playable characters, since this is something that I don't think we've gotten in any of the mainline 3D Mario games. We have gotten them in plenty of the 2D games, most recently in Mario Wonder, but we've never really gotten a full-on big 3D Mario game in which you get to play as multiple playable characters. The closest I would say we've gotten to this is 3D World and I guess Odyssey, if you want to count that, especially since after you beat the main story, you can go to the Mushroom Kingdom and play as Yoshi, but I digress. I do think it would be a lot of fun being able to play as like Luigi, or Yoshi, or Toad, or Peach, and be able to utilize their abilities. I think it would be something that would be really fresh and really unique to the series. And yeah, obviously, I do know that trying to implement 4 or 5 different characters, each with their own unique moveset, would be pretty difficult to do, especially for what is presumably going to be a very, very big, expansive game. But like, I don't know. I mean, I know next to nothing about game development, I will admit, but I still feel like it can be done. I mean, if Sonic could do it multiple times, then, like, what's stopping Mario from doing it? And yes, I am including Peach. I do think Peach should also be a playable character from the very start. So, in other words, I don't think the next game's story should revolve around having to save her, which leads me to the second thing I would want out of a new 3D Mario would be a much more creative story. Alright, because honestly, I think we're all getting a little tired of the whole, like, having to save Peach all the time. One thing from the Mario movies I do really hope they implement into the games is having Peach be much more of a fighter and much more able to hold her own, which is also kind of why I would want her to be a playable character as well. But yeah, we haven't really gotten a Mario game with an actual decent story, or any story for that matter, outside of Galaxy and of course all the RPGs, and I guess Odyssey, but like not really, since that was really just more of the same. It was just better presented than a lot of the games that came before. I know when it comes to mainline Mario games, the story doesn't really matter. The story is just there as a catalyst to motivate you to get to the end. In general, nobody really plays Mario games with a story. They play them because they just want to have fun, running and jumping around as a short Italian man with a mustache, stomping on Koopas. So I'm already not going to expect anything on the level of like Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War. But at the very least, I want a story that's just at least a little more creative, you know? Maybe one where Bowser isn't the villain, where it's someone else like Wart, or a completely new villain. I don't know. I just think they should do something at least a little bit more creative. If they are just gonna do more of the same, at least add like some unique twist to it. I don't know, something a bit more refreshing at least, and hopefully would allow Peach to be a playable character. And while we're on the topic of playing as characters, and since I don't really know how to segue into the next section, let's talk about how I'd want the gameplay to be like. And level design, we'll also be talking about level design. So anyways, the gameplay, I feel, should be really not that different from Odyssey's gameplay, since I do feel that was a pretty perfect evolution of the gameplay from Galaxy 1 and 2. Although, what I'm not sure about is if they're going to come up with some kind of new gimmick, like the captures and hat throwing from Mario Odyssey, or if they are going to bring it back. But I feel like they would only bring it back if they're going to do Odyssey 2, which, sadly, I don't think is very likely at this point. I honestly feel like if Nintendo really wanted to make Odyssey 2, they would have done it by now, or they would have at least announced it by now, but who knows. I'm not really sure what the gimmick for the next big 3D Mario game in terms of gameplay would be like, but I do feel the general gameplay overall should be essentially just the same as Odyssey, maybe just a little more enhanced, I guess. I'm not really sure how much more you could perfect the gameplay, honestly, but overall it should pretty much just stay the same. Again, I guess it just depends on like whatever the gimmick is or whatever power-ups they are, pretty much. Okay, now, as for level design, I've heard some speculation that apparently the next big 3D Mario game will actually be open world, which I honestly don't know how to feel about that. On the one hand, I do feel that can work. Nintendo did give us a bit of a taste of that with Bowser's Fury, and honestly, I actually wouldn't mind if we got essentially that, but as a full game, not Bowser's Fury, I mean, a full open world Mario game in the same vein as Bowser's Fury. But at the same time, I really don't feel like you need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to 3D Mario. Just because it works so well with Breath of the Wild, it doesn't mean every single game nowadays has to be open world. I feel the reason why Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom work so well in open world is because of the way that Zelda games are, primarily being action-adventure exploration games. That transition to open world, it's a lot smoother of a transition compared to Mario, which is primarily a platformer first and foremost. So I don't know, I'd rather they just continue what they did in Odyssey, had you going from location to location, or perhaps bringing back the hub worlds from Galaxy. If they can make open world work for a Mario game, then I'm all for it, honestly, but I really don't think it needs to be open world. But whatever, we'll see. So I guess it leads me to my final question. What is going to be the next big 3D Mario game? Is it going to be Odyssey 2? Galaxy 3? Well, if I had to guess, it's going to be Galaxy 3. I mean, you had Galaxy 1 and 2 re-released on the Switch pretty recently, plus, you know, the movie. I feel like Nintendo is doing all this to set up Mario Galaxy 3. You know, very similar to what Sega did with the whole Year of the Shadow thing. Had Sonic X Shadow Generations released around the same time as the third Sonic movie, where Shadow made his debut there in the movies. So it wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo was basically doing the exact same thing, but with Galaxy. Or maybe, just maybe, this probably isn't going to happen, but what if they do some kind of combination of both Odyssey and Galaxy, where instead of a hub world, you travel to different planets, kind of similar to what Astrobot did. So I'm just imagining you going around in the Odyssey to different planets, exploring them, maybe calling it Super Mario Universe. Probably isn't going to happen, but I don't know. This would be pretty cool, if you ask me. But whatever, one can dream, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much about it in terms of what I want and what I predict the next big 3D Mario game will be like. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see in the next big 3D Mario game, or what you think the next big 3D Mario game is going to be. I can't wait for the Mario Galaxy movie. I'll probably drop a review of it at some point, you know, sooner or later. All in all, I'm still very, very excited as to what the future of Mario holds, and whatever the next big 3D Mario game is, I will be there no matter what to experience it. Okay, well, that's if I have a Switch 2 by the time this new Mario game releases, because currently, as of the making this video, I currently don't have one. So hopefully, by the time the next big 3D Mario game releases, I'll finally have one. Hopefully.